Good morning, dear students. Today, let us learn more about evidences of evolution. In the last lecture, we have learned three evidences of evolution: morphological evidence, second is anatomical evidence, and third one is vestigial organs. Today, let us move towards fourth evidence, that is paleontological evidence. Now, what is paleontology? Paleontology is the study of fossils. Here in these images, you all can see different types of fossils are present. So, these are the fossils of animals, plants, or here you all can see a person who is studying about the fossil. Now, the study of fossils provides the strongest evidence of organic evolution. We have learned about organic evolution. A fossil is any trace or remains of an organism that has been preserved by natural processes. Special circumstances are required for a fossil to form. In the majority of fossils, the soft tissues of the organism decayed and only the hard parts such as bones or shells have been preserved. So these hard parts of that particular organism are preserved in the form of fossils. In some fossils, however, an entire organism has been with almost no decay. The carbon dating method is included in this paleontological evidence. The Willard Libby developed this concept of carbon dating method and he was been awarded by Nobel Prize. Now what is carbon dating method? You all can see this image in which you all can see sun, atmosphere or environment having different types of elements, grass, tree and animal. So on the basis of this image, let us learn carbon dating method. Now, carbon is present in the atmosphere in the form of C12 and C14. C12 is non-radioactive and C14 is radioactive. These both carbons are taken in by plants in the form of carbon dioxide. So both the forms of carbons are present in plant in the form of carbon dioxide. The ratio of C14 and C12 remains constant while plant or that particular animal is alive. In case of dead bodies of plants and animals, the ratio between C14 and C12 changes continuously. The time passed since the death of a plant or animal can be calculated by measuring the radioactivity of C14 and C12 present in their body. So when these plant or animals, when they die, this C14 which is radioactive gets decayed or it gets destroyed, and that change or that process is continuous. Day by day it changes its form. Then this method of measuring the radioactivity of C14 and C12 present in that body, this method is known as carbon dating method. And this particular method is used for determining the age of human fossils and manuscripts. So this carbon dating method is used for determining the age of that particular fossil. Now, fifth evidence is connecting links. Some of the plants and animals show some morphological characters by which they can be related to two different groups. Hence, they are called as connecting links. So, they are connected in between two different groups. So, let us take an example. You all can see here peripatus. This is an example of connecting link. So let us correlate or let us compare this peripatus with the earthworm. Earthworm is of Annelida group. So the peripatus has characters same like segmented body, thin cuticle and parapodia like organs similar to earthworm. So if we compare the peripatus image and earthworm image, we can see there are some similarities. Both of them have segmented body, thin cuticular, that is thin skin on the both animals. So this, and second one is parapodia like organs. So small legs are present on their body. So these similar characters are between peripatus and earthworm. Similarly, peripatus shows tracheal respiration and open circulatory system similar to arthropods. If we see peripatus and cockroach, both of them have some similar characters, and this indicates that peripatus is connecting link between Annelida and Arthropoda, which shows there is an evidence of evolution. Now, similarly, we can take second example. You all can see here duckbill platypus. Here, this animal lays eggs like reptiles, but they show relationship with mammals due to the presence of mammary glands and hairs. So, they are connecting link between reptiles and whom? Mammals. Now, third example is of lungfish. Lungfish performs respiration with lungs irrespective of being fish. So, as we all know that fish has gills, and with the help of the gills they respire. But in this example, lungfish performs respiration with lungs in spite of being a fish. So these examples indicates that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fish. Now let us move towards last evidence, that is embryological evidences. Here in this image you all can see there are number of embryos. So there are, here you all can see the embryos. Now what is embryo? It is an animal that is developing either in its mother's womb or in an egg. Now in embryological evidences there is comparative study of embryonic developmental stages of various vertebrates in given picture. Now, observing this picture or image, we can see there is similarity in early development of animals. So, when they are in the form of embryo, they are similar to each other. And also there is similarity in vertebrate embryos. The embryos of fish, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals resemble closely in the early stages. In fact, it is very difficult to distinguish them. And this indicates the common origin of all these animals. So, this is about embryological evidence, and we have learned all 6 evidences of evolution, and in the next lecture we will learn about Darwin's theory of natural selection. Have a good day, students.